Hello, ma'am. I am Anand along with my EL mates Nikhil Bharadwaj, Pranam Mishra, Shresht, and Manan Bhatt is going to present our supply chain experiential learning, and our title is Understanding the Watch Market Using the Supply Chain Analytics. Basically, if we go about the intro, well, it explains about the global watch market serves diverse customer needs ranging from the entry-level watches to the ultra-luxury timepieces. Well, the purpose of analysis is to understand the supply chain strategies, manufacturing practices, and the market positioning along the across the watch segments. Well, the focus brands are the Casio, Titan, Tissot, Tag Heuer, Rolex, and Richard Mille. If we go about the overview of the watch markets, we have the segmentation of the watch market in between. So first one is the entry level, like the price ranging from 1,000 to 30,000. The brands are like Casio, Timex, Titan. Well, it focuses on affordable and durable watches for everyday use. Another one is the entry luxury. The price ranges from the 30,000 to 1 lakh. The brands are like Tissot and Hamilton, and it focuses basically on the blend of affordability and swift craftsmanship. Another is the basic luxury, 1 lakh to 3 lakh. Brands is Tag Heuer and Longines, and it focuses on mid-tier luxury for the professional enthusiasts. And we have the luxury like 3 lakh to 20 lakh, and the brands is Rolex, Omega, etc. Well, basically the focus of the watches is the premium watches with brand exclusivity. And last but not the least, the another classification is the ultra luxury. It focuses on the price range between 20 lakhs to more than 10 crores, like the brands like Richard Mille, Patek Philippe, etc. It focuses on highly exclusive watches with the advanced material. Well, the scope of analysis of our is to focus on the supply chain, manufacturing practices, and market positioning of the leading analysis. Here, the analysis of the regional market trends, pricing strategies, and the production sales. So I'll go on with the my friends to continue on with the topic. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Nikhil Bharadwaj from Aerospace. So I'll be giving the literature review for this project, uh, as introduced by my teammate. So we have four to five segments in the watch market. That is luxury, ultra luxury, entry level, luxury, entry level, basic, etc. And we also like decided to like focus on Casio because it's like a well-known brand, and also it is very popular in India. Um, Coming to the segmentations, so first one is ultra luxury, so which is like costing upwards of like around 20 lakhs plus to around crores. You might have like seen like in the Ambani wedding, Ambani was wearing a Richard Mille, and like everyone were like focused on that. Even I think even the Meta CEO was focused on his watch. So watches is like a very like interesting segment. So we decided we got inspiration similar to this, and like we also like watches in general, so we thought we'll do something in this. So we got like a bunch of source. I'll just show the source document. So these are some sources. I mean, we didn't refer like all of them. Like we referred like just we referred some of it, and like we took some data, yeah, just from Google, and that will be explained by Manan, the coding part. So yeah, coming to literature review. So first one is ultra luxury segment. So brands include Richard Mille, Patek Philippe, etc. So for we got a case study related to Richard Mille, that is, it is just-in-time manufacturing. That is, you place an order, then only it will get manufactured to minimize inventory because it is very expensive to manufacture such like expensive segment car watches. So yeah, so it is exclusive. So second, we come to luxury watch, so which is like one tier below the ultra luxury. Not really, but yeah, but uh, people, one of the most popular examples is Rolex. So Rolex, you can get it in Bangalore as well. There's a Rolex store, and there are like many like uh, authorized like uh, repair centers for Rolex in India. So which makes it like an interesting segment because sales of Rolex in India is also like, I mean, it's not high, but it's like it's there. It's up to some point. So that means like people are buying like luxury watches in India. So the Rolex follows like a centralized Swiss-based supply chain. So they select like high precision, high quality components, and they focus on quality control. So because it's mainly quality, they don't have a lot of inventory, but they have higher inventory than Richard Mille, like ultra luxury, and they don't follow just-in-time manufacturing. They usually keep a bit of inventory, and then they try to sell that first, and as well as introducing new watches, new collabs, etc. We come to basic luxury, which is Rado, Tudor, uh, which is also like very popular in India, especially Rado. And we have Tag Heuer's Omni Supplies chain strategy, which is very interesting, which was found in European Journal of Marketing. So what it does is it also does direct sales, that is D2C, and also it uses third-party sellers to enhance customer experience because they don't do it. It's like a franchise almost. They don't do it themselves, but they allow other people to do it. So because it will be efficient, I believe. And we have entry-level luxury, Tissot, Hamilton, etc. And Tissot also like Tissot is also Swiss made. Like assembly lines are out. Like it is much more automated because it's not that high-end luxury, but it's still luxury enough to have like quality materials. And then we come to entry level, uh, which is 10X, Citizen, Titan, Casio, etc. So Titan is very like Indian brand that is startup, and they have store-based model. Also, they sell online. And yeah, it is cheap, it is affordable. Yeah, so it is an Indian brand. Then we come to Casio. So Casio's utilizes an international supply network. So their network is insanely strong, and they source materials from multiple companies. They have manufacturing in India, they have manufacturing in China, they have manufacturing everywhere, to be honest. So uh, which allows them to deliver like consistent products. So they have SOPs like providing flexibility in market demands. And this is one of the most popular watches, that is the F91W. And this is like recognized worldwide, released in 1991. So it is one of the most popular digital watches of all time. So the in detail segmentation and the coding part will be explained by my teammates. Thank you.
So, good morning, ma'am. My name is Pranam Mishra, and I'm from Chemical Engineering Department. We are group number 10. So, our topic is understanding the watch segment using supply chain analytics. So, we have done different watches analysis. So, there are different types of watches which we have considered. So first of all, we are considering the entry-level watches. Other than these watches, there are different types of segments. First segment is the entry-level segment. Second is the basic level. Then third one is the entry luxury and so on. So I'll explain the entry-level segment. So before explaining what happens, what is the supply chain process of Casio, one should know that how entry-level segment works. So entry-level watches are those watches that are designed to be affordable and they are accessible for people who are just starting their watch collection. And these watches are usually priced lesser than the luxury watches, and they have simply basic functions and a good value for money. So the price ranges which it has is around $50 to $100 to $200, and in Indian rupees we can say up to 2,000 to 8,000 and so on. So like this only depends on the dollar rate, whatever it is. So yeah. So now I'll explain about the Casio, which is the watch which comes under the entry level segment. So first of all, I'll explain the raw material procurement. So these are the Casio uses materials like quartz, resin, and LCD screens. And these raw materials are sourced from different countries like China, Japan. And now we'll talk about the manufacturing process. So other than it has a good benefit of supply chain process also that raw material is also happening in China, and even the manufacturing unit is also in China. Other than China, it is also in Thailand and Japan. But if it is in China, then it also gets a good advantage. And other than that, factory uses automated systems to produce a large amount or a bulk amount of watches, which is around 5 million entry-level watches annually of Casio. And the distribution center first, it was a supply chain process. It was a raw material supply process, which was in the China and Japan and all of that. Then it was a manufacturing process, and now we are talking about the distribution process. So the distribution process here are in USA, Europe, and Asia. And for this, they use cost-effective shipping like through sea for bulk materials because there are a large amount of materials. So it can go through ship which can load a good amount of goods or watches or whatever the material is, and air for the urgent orders if it is a responsive action. If there is a lot of demand, so we can take a responsive action through air. Uh, yes, and the retail and customer reach is through online platforms, the retailing stores, the retail chains, and the pricing range from $50 to $100. So yeah, so now I'll talk about the data analysis. And here in this, yeah. So before explaining this, I'll tell you about the lead time. So the lead time takes about 2 to 3 months to make and deliver a watch. And millions of watches are made each year to meet the demand. So now I'll explain the first graph here, which is the cost breakdown across supply chain stages versus the three parts: the manufacturing, the distribution stages, and the retail. So first of all is the manufacturing part. So it is the 60% of the total cost. So it is because due to the high automation and the material cost, the manufacturing one, and then come the logistic part, which is 20%. So it includes the shipping expenses, warehousing, and transportation cost. And third comes the retail margin. So it is a retail profits and what could we say, distribution network margins. Yeah. So now it is the second graph, which is here in this, it represents the cost percentage in the blue bar graph and the challenges related to each segment, the raw material, the manufacturing, distribution, and the retail one through this line. Yes. So what does it represents is that first of all, let's talk about manufacturing or the raw material. So it has two parts, the cost and the challenges one. So the cost is very low in this raw material. It's not too much high, and challenges are moderate. That according to rising material prices due to what could we say, that global supply chain disruptions and inflation, due to inflation and supply chain affected by the inflation. So yeah, and the manufacturing cost here is about 60%, which includes highest among all the stages, which is automation, labor, and all of that. And the challenges here in this is also highest among all the stages. Like it also deals with the labor cost and dependency on foreign suppliers and production efficiency that will impact Casio. So these things. And third comes the distribution and logistics warehousing part. So here the cost is the 20%, which includes transportation like through sea, air, and storage costs in warehouses. And the challenges are here are lower than the manufacturing, but there are still shipping delays which may rise to a huge amount of cost. And it can also be related to COVID-19 and fuel price fluctuation that will impact the cost. So it depends that if the transportation cost is getting high is due to these delays only. And the fourth part is the retail and the customer reach. This is the lowest, which will cover all the retail markets and marketing and our global operation. And the challenges is lowest among all the stages. And if it is lowest, then it is good only. But one of the major challenges which it faces is to deal with the fake counterfeit watches, which is the one of the challenges that comes in this. So yeah, these are the things. And innovations are also being used in this, like using robots in factories to lower the cost, and using AI for better inventory management, and eco-friendly practices like recycling and solar powered watches. So yeah. And this is the flow chart, which I had already told in the first slide, that how things work in this, that these are the suppliers, and the factories are in China. And the factories are in China, raw materials are also exported from China to in China only. And the manufacturing unit, the warehouses, which are in USA, Europe, the distribution centers, and the retailers and customers. So yeah, this was the Casio part which I explained. Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. Myself, Srish Gupta. So the next level is basic luxury level, in which tech carrier companies there. So the supply chain stages is like raw material, manufacturing, distribution, and retail customer reach. So the raw material can be titanium, ceramics, and sapphire crystal. And manufacturing can be Swiss-made watches crafted in Switzerland with a focus on precision and craftsmanship. And the retail and customer can be sold via flagship boutiques, authorized retailers, and online platforms with click and collect and personalized shopping. So the data which we get from the our sources is like pricing is like $1,500 to $5,000, and production volume is like 775 lakhs watches annually. Revenue is over $1 billion, contributing significantly to LVMH group. So the main challenges which it faces is managing demand, variability, integrating online and offline sales, advanced logistics, personalized retail experience, and enhance anti-counterfeit measurements. So this is whole flowchart, supply chain flowchart, where we can see the mostly the sale which we are getting is from boutiques 50%, and the next is e-commerce platform is 30%, and unauthorized retailers is 20%. So this is the flowchart how they Teguier will play in the supply chain role. So the next is luxury level, in which Rolex comes into the play. So here the supply chain procurement is like stainless steel, gold, platinum, ceramics, like that. And manufacturing is in the Swiss-based production with full in-house control, key facilities in Geneva. And the distribution is basically on through authorized dealers, no online sales to maintain prestige, regional hubs serve high demand market. And the market and data insights are positioning, pricing, production scale, revenue, and lead time is like 12 to 18 months per watch due to strict quality control. Over 9 billion, making Rolex to the top luxury level and brand globally. Like most of the youth wear this type of Rolex watches. And the main challenges and innovation they face is like long waiting list for iconic models, counterfeiting threats, and sustainability concerns. Innovations are advanced material precision manufacturing and sustainable sourcing initiatives. So this is the supply chain graph, where the major is from Europe, 30%, and the second is 35% North America, and then Asia 20%, and then Middle East 10%, and other is 5%. So this is how the whole luxury and basic luxury level comes into the play in the supply chain management. Thank you.
So, good morning, everyone. I'm Mananpat, and I'm here to explain the coding part of our experiential learning project on supply chain analytics. And the topic of our project is Wearable. So, I shall start with the presentation. So, I will share my screen. Yeah. So, uh, so basically, what the things we have done here is, I should- okay. So basically, what things we have done here is we have compared the real analysis with the two forms. So the first analysis would be getting through the tabulation form, and the second analysis would be getting to the machine learning form. So in the tabulation form, what here we have done is, so in real life, we have different sort of watches. So like, yeah. So in real life, we have different sort of watches. So in these watches, we can have a table or we can have a tabulated part where we can arrange all those watches in some of the forms. Like I'll show the code here. Like, but first we have inserted a table. So basically for tabulation part and arranging all the watches in some of the means table, so what we can apply here is we can apply either with the pandas or we can go with the SQL. So we have done through SQL. So I'll copy the SQL code here. I've copied to the clipboard. I'll come here to Notepad and paste it here. So you can see like what we have developed here is we have we have created a variable watches table where we have serial number, brand name, model name, customer feedback, return rate, warranty period, everything. Like yeah, these all the things what we have here is through which we can get a prototype of how the table should be. And these tables we can perform in SQL, using SQL mechanism. In these tables we can perform a number of operations. We can either update the table with a new quality or quantity perspective, or we can you know retrieve data from the table. Like I have to I have to perform some operation. I have to get some watches who have rating more than 4.5, or get some watches who have rating less than 4.5. So we can have like that. So all the ratings here and all the names here are given. So I for this table, I'll show you one of the operation. Like yeah, I have written here. uh, so if I write here is sorry, control A, control Z. So yeah. So I've written here the operation for which, like one of the operation, example operation, what we can do here is, so if I run this operation, what in this operation, what we are doing is we are selecting all the data from the wearable watches where customer feedback is greater than 4.5. So I shall run the code. Yeah. So the code is completed. And what we can see here is, we can see here all serial number, all those watches like Apple, Samsung, Apple, and other watches who have rating more than 4.5. So we can see here is 4.8, 4.5, 4.6, 4.9, and all the other perspective of here, like its date, it's or the GPS is there or not, or battery backup, or all those information because we have selected hash rate. So we will get all those informations of those watches, so for which the rating is more than 4.5. So yeah, so this is an example form or how we can implement the tabulation part in our SQL analysis. So here, this by this we can update any of the thing, or we can do any of the things here. Like we can select all those watches who have battery backup more than 10 hours, or we can select, or we can update the table with a new watch. So this is how the tabulation part would cover here. So now I shall go to the machine learning part. So these are the two parts what we have done. First is tabulation, and second is the machine learning part. Yeah, yeah. So basically, I'll show the code here. Yeah. So this is machine learning code in which I shall explain through these. This is the code, and we have commented through all of the feedbacks what we got. So this is the machine learning code, and these are the you know these are the things what we got as an output. So I shall explain with the output how the things work. So the code here is second. Yeah, this is the code. Okay, so I'll explain through the output like what we have done here. So like this is a data set where we have everything about the watches. Now what we have done here is we have classified watches into two different forms. Either watch would be luxury or non-luxury. Luxury watches, we are seeing that all time like Rolex and Pratik Philippe. So these watches like which have high cost, and like these watches are made like if I can customize my watch, so I can them in a customized form, and these watches may cost up to crores. So there are two types of watches, either luxury or non-luxury, and we have all the market of the luxury and non-luxury watches here, watches here. And now I shall explain all the outputs what we got. These output we got through all the workings here. So I shall explain with the output. Yeah. So coming on the first output, we have sales distribution per category, like how many sales there is for all those watches. So for luxury watches and for non-luxury watches. So basically, first we have to explain, like first I have to explain like what the data what we have used here is. So what the data what we have used here is this thing. You can see yeah. So this is the form of data what we have used here. It's comprises of many like more than thousands of, you can see here, like we can have all those thousands of data. So yeah, this is the form of data what we have used here. And now coming through, like the data has many of the things like like characters and all that stuff. So all those data we have implemented for our watch design. We can see here is we have directly used that mass data here, like this URL we can see there, and that's URL in the above. So that we can directly use that mass data here for optimization, and it contains all the things like cut, clarity, price, depth, and carat, and everything for those data. So I'll come to the code part. So yeah, from that mass data of watches, we have implemented. So it's like a Google set of data. We have implemented all our functions uh, in the code bar. So coming through this sales distribution. So we have, like for luxury watches, we have less distribution, and for non-luxury we have high, because like people used to purchase, or the things like sales are high for the non-luxury, and for the luxury they are customized sale. So we can have from that data and real life implementation, we can have a prototype example, like here what we have seen here is 5,000 is the sales for luxury watches, and the non-luxury watches here it's like a table, or we can say a range. So for here the range is above and below 5,000, and here the range is 7,500 to 17,500. Now the second output what we got here is like inventory level distribution for all the, so blurred part these blurred part are the non-luxury watches, and the like more intense part are for the luxury watches. So these are the count of watches, and these is inventory level watches. So now the next thing what we have here is demand forecast. So demand forecast, as we have used in the code also we have explained there, is we have used here that exponential smoothing algorithm to get the demand forecast for both this luxury watches and non-luxury watches. So we have made a legend also, so we can see here how the demand forecast works. So this is the lead time for both luxury and the non-luxury watches, and other things are like sales. So here we have given through the example of those sales, like for Fossil, it is a non-luxury watch. So the Fossil, the sale is high. And for like Rolex, that is a extreme luxury watch, and it's greater feedback, and also the customized watches are more demanded. So here sales is a bit less compared to these other watches, as the price is extremely high and demand according to the price is maintained. And also we have to compare the demand forecast in increasing order of all those watches. So here we can see the demand forecast also. Now at the end we comes with the customer feedback. So we can see that Omega Timex has less feedback compared with the Rolex, and we can see in here this by real life examples also, because these watches are like Rolex or other luxury watches are customized through customized through the people. So according to the customization, they get the watches, and according to their design, so they give the feedback analysis here comes more, because they have custom in that rather comparing with other watches. So we can see through that extreme data, we can see here that yeah, we have high customer feedback in Rolex compared with than Fossil, than Citizen, than Tagio. So these depends on like what set of feedback or what set of data we have chosen, or how the machine learning model is implemented. So this is the two form. So basically, I'll explain explain the basic structure of that model. So here, what we have done, this is all output. Yeah, turn the output screen. So yeah, for this machine learning model, what we have done here is we have included all those non-luxury and luxury tables, and for that, in real life, for real life data, what we got through this GitHub data set of wearable watches, for that real life data, what we have implemented all those formations, all those things that are necessary for getting a feedback, or for getting a range or demand of, or everything out the every information about a wearable watch through these form of graphs. We can have that sales distribution, we can have an inventory level distribution, demand forecast, average sales, average demand, and customer feedback. So these shows that how in real life analysis with a large number of data set, like I have shown you, like the data set is extremely large. So with a large number of data set, how we can have the sales and all the things for two forms of watches. So like our teammate explained, the forms of watches are 5, but for the code part, we have included, like we can see, some of the forms are like ultra luxury and luxury. So we have included luxury portion, and the below one are as a non-luxury. So for the code part, this is how the machine learnings work. And for each implementation, we get a new form of output set using that data set and the randomized data set value of that data. So yeah, so this was our work. Yeah. So this was our work, and this was a two form of information or code analysis what we have done here. First one was machine learning, and the second one was tabulation. So including all these formations, we can have a proper implementation of how wearable watches in real life scenario